Welcome in Whisper Nation to TFW Live, the best kept secret in fantasy football, where we keep that week one feeling going all year long. This is TFW Live episode 362, where I'm going to be talking all of the injury news and nuggets from around the NFL heading into week 13. But before we jump into this news, I want to let you know that the show today is supported by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. You can join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off your purchase and free worldwide shipping with the code TFWMAN. That's TFWMAN to get 20% off your order and free shipping. But let's jump into it. I am Austin Sear. Welcome in Jersey J. Lady V, we got Ronald Kalla in here, we got Albert. Love to have everybody in here. Flea Bit, Peanut Monkey. Where is Travis? He's in Denver. Good to be here with you. I will see you later, Flea Bit. Love everybody else in the show rocking in. And if you love joining a community where you know you belong, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. We're trying to get just one more subscriber on this stream, just one more. It could be you. And if you're new or familiar, let us know where you're streaming in from. I'd love to give you a shout out here on the show. Big shout out to you, Whisper Nation, and a lot of gratitude to all the members on YouTube who support the show through a monthly subscription. Riders Chambers, Hanimal, Gus Ramos, Don Caples, Nick, Brett Zabel, John Credit, Eric Lorenzen, Donnie Tubbs, Jersey J. If you want to join our growing list, just hit join next to the video now. We're going to be jumping into some of the recaps from yesterday's game. We had the Bills and the Patriots going at it. Not really surprised by the outcome of yesterday's game. Was a little bit surprised maybe to see nobody get a incredibly strong performance, especially on the kicker side. I don't know about you, but I was putting on Bass and Folk to have both really good games, and that really didn't happen. You got an all right performance out of Ramondre. Devin Singletary, though, did better than Ramondre Stevenson. You had Josh Allen get you over 20 fantasy points, but it wasn't in an incredible fashion, and it didn't really break the day for you. So let me know if you had any players going in last night's showdown. I had Josh Allen myself in my Dynasty League of Record. I had Ramondre Stevenson going in Ramondre Stevenson in my Dynasty League of Record, Josh Allen going there as well. In my League of Record, I was not going up against anybody in yesterday's matchup. Let me know about all of y'all. Moving on now to get to the news and notes from the stream. We've got Atlanta Falcons update. Kyle Pitts kind of done for your fantasy squad already, but he is now officially done. Head coach Arthur Smith said Pitts is out for the season. If you're in redraft leagues, you can remove him from your IR and just drop him on back to the waiver list if you're there. Jersey J coming in. I had Stevenson with good. The Bills controlled the game. 14 points isn't bad at all. That's true. I guess you're playing in a full point PPR. Any extra bonuses? That's true. My league didn't, when I had Ramondre, didn't have that same setup going for me. But I'm glad that you did, because that's a pretty good day. It's all right. That's all the news here out of Atlanta. And make sure you hit me with your questions as we move on through, and make sure by the end of the show to get every question answered. Starting off, though, we got one with Jersey J here. RB spot, got a flex question. Are we going with Z Knight out of New York? Rashad White, Tampa Bay running back. DeAndre Swift, Raheem Mostert, Cordell Patterson. So Rashad White looked good last week with Leonard Fournette out. You're right, Lenny is back, but Rashad White's yards per carry have been better than every single game Leonard Fournette has had, except for week one, where he averaged over 6 yards per carry. Efficiency-wise, Rashad White has been better than Lenny in almost every other way, and I think he has probably taken over because the Bucs need to win. This isn't like a preferential type of deal where you're looking in maybe like Dallas, where like Pollard might be outperforming Zeke, but Zeke is our guy and he's doing good enough. they don't have the luxury in Tampa Bay that I think Dallas does, where they are working every little margin on every player in every play to actually give Tom Brady a decent end of the year and a shot at the playoffs and making some headway through those. So I think that Rachaad White is their best option, and I don't think they have the luxury of going with their preferred option. I think they have to go with their best. So I like Rachaad White a lot the rest of the season moving forward. But we got some other good options here. Knight out of New York had a really good day last week, or a really good showing last week. Michael Carter is doubtful. We'll see if they work in Ty Johnson. I'm a little concerned about the Jets backfield. Easy come, easy go for me. So I like what Knight is situated for and predicted to perform with, but I'm just not trusting it a whole lot. Bam Knight here. Let's see if there's anybody else here we trust more. Swift looks great. I mean, he caught some passes and he looked good through the air, but you got Jamal Williams who's still doing his thing, trucking along on the ground, gobbling up a lot of short yardage touchdowns. So I'm a little off on White. They go up against the Jaguars this week. I think it's a decent performance. I think Swift does good too. And I have him ahead of Mostert. Cordero Patterson, I'm not hating on Patterson. And the Atlanta team is doing a little bit better. Taking a look at Patterson's performance from last week, 11 carries, 52 yards, like that efficiency. Caught 3 targets on 5, or caught 3 balls on 5 targets. There's not a lot of life in Atlanta, even though their record isn't as bad as you would expect them to have. Okay, so I got to answer this question. If it's my lineup, Jay, and I'm starting one of these guys in my flex, I think I am starting Rachaad White, and then I'm going Knight out of New York, and then I'm going Swift, Cordero Patterson, Raheem Mostert. That's how I would be ranking them for myself. Let's see. What's up, Riders? Just gave a little breakdown on Rachaad White. I like him a lot. It's not going to be as bountiful a situation for Rachaad White, given that he is going to have Leonard Fournette around, but I think he still gets a good amount of work, and I think he does good work with that opportunity. See if we got any other questions on here. All right, we got Fournette is a better game time running back. Brady is on Fournette. I hear what you're saying on this. Brady has a relationship with Fournette, but Brady's also got a relationship with winning. And Rachaad White, I believe, gives the Buccaneers the best chance of winning right now. It's not about who's your friends. It's about who's going to get it done for you. And Rachaad White is looking better in nearly every metric you could put together ahead of Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette's not totally healthy either. So we'll see about that. All right. Yeah, Ronald here. I think Robinson makes a random appearance. That's what we're kind of talking about over in New York. Easy come, easy go. Ty Johnson can jump in there. We've got Robinson who can make a showing. I mean, Knight came out of nowhere as it is. I'm just not solid on the Jets backfield because of how many options they do have. But I do like what Mike White is about, and I do like this whole offense, and I really like Garrett Wilson on this one. What up, Kyrie? Pickens or Swift? George Pickens or DeAndre Swift? I would lean on DeAndre Swift simply because he gets that pass catching work as well. So he can always break one out from a run. He can break one out from a pass, and he just has more versatility and opportunity than George Pickens does. Well, then he's healthy as solid. He certainly is. He's not healthy right now. Flea got bit by the wrong flea. Who are you, Flea? It's good to meet you, man. I don't know if we've had a chance to chop it up here, but I'm glad that you're in on the show, throwing out some of your takes here. Now I'm going to start debating you. The only reason anybody is on White is because they are and having cheering for Lenny to fail. No, it's because Rachaad White has performed well the last 2 games. Leonard Fournette is fine and good and all those things, but Rachaad White is performing better from efficiency numbers. He's performing better overall, and he's in an opportunity to look good moving this week as well. Let's take a look now over at the Baltimore Ravens. Speaking of running backs, we got J.K. Dobbins probably out again. John Harbaugh said J.K. Dobbins will not play. So there you go. He is out. And he's maybe getting ready for week 14 coming up, but it looks like Gus Edwards is going to be the lead back in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, lead quarterback, of course, dealing with a quad issue. He got taken off the injury report, though. You love that. He's going to play against the Broncos. He hasn't had a ton of multiple touchdown passing performances, but his legs keep him working. So we love that. Isaiah Likely was removed from the Week 13 injury report, but without Mark Andrews going down, I'm going to steer away from Isaiah Likely outside of super, super deep leagues. I was hoping he was going to help save me in the Whisper Listener League, and it did not. He didn't play well, and Jersey J ended up beating me that week. Good job, Jersey J. I said it to you in the chat, but I'm saying it to you here now on the show. Way to end my dreams and officially knock me out of the playoffs. Worth mentioning, Aaron Rodgers was on pace for a good game, and he missed a lot of time. Najee Harris was on pace for a good game. He missed a lot of time. Elijah Mitchell also got taken out of that game, and I lost by 10 points in a PPR league. So I did have some tough breaks, but them's the breaks, right? Fantasy football is not a friendly friend. Moving on to the Carolina Panthers, where we've got Sam Darnold is going to continue to get the start after the bye week. PJ Walker rosters can move on. Darnold did not exactly look amazing in his 2022 debut, but he did play better than Baker Mayfield did last week. He did make DJ Moore fantasy viable, so we can't complain. It's no surprise that Darnold is going to start moving forward. There you go. I'm not hating on this for some of the other option pieces, including D'Onta Foreman, who took 24 carries for 113 yards. Dude, I don't know about you, but the D'Onta Foreman late season storyline here is, I fucking love this. There's always some late season running back hero who kind of pops out of nowhere. But D'Onta Foreman, man, he's doing it at an especially incredible degree. Like, he's getting all these opportunities, doing great yards. He looks good on paper. He looks good on film. I love it. DJ Moore caught 4 of his 6 targets for 103 yards. This is just a stat highlight. We don't need to touch in on any of last week's performances. Fire up your DJ Moores. Fire up your D'Onta Foremans. And let's see if we can get you a W this week coming in while the Bears is loading up. Let's see here. Let's see some questions coming in. Ooh. Riders, Christian Watson or Donovan Peoples-Jones or Debo? I love Christian Watson. I mean, Christian Watson equals the truth was my little nickname here, like in week 1 through 4. I think he's going to be phenomenal. I think he's a great play this week. It's hard for me to put him ahead of Debo if Debo is healthy, but I'm going to do it because Debo's not totally healthy, right? And so Christian Watson has been on the field like every single snap. He's got a crazy like 2.7 yards per route run stat right now. He's like the number 1 rookie wide receiver. He's the rookie of the month right now, Christian Watson is. And he looks to be Aaron Rodgers' number 1 weapon, at least the last couple of weeks he has been. I don't know why that would shift. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing again. Debo is insane. Debo is fantastic. He's a beast. He's great through the air, on the ground. He's a bulldog. He's good in open space, but he hasn't needed to use all of his tools because the 49ers have Ayuk and Kittle and CMC. Now that running back room is getting thinner every single week. So Debo might have to get called into action, but he still might not be available because he has been dealing with that quad issue. So I'm going to go with Christian Watson, who seems to be healthy. He's been hurt all freaking year, but he seems healthy right now. Then Debo, and then DPJ for me. Oh, and he asked me to pick 2. So I guess Christian Watson and Debo on this. I'm with you here, Jersey J. Ronald should let me win this week since I still have a shot. Never, man. You can't get complacent even if you're out. I mean, we all do this for the community, right? You love to be. Some people play in random leagues, and especially if you're playing for money or other accolades, there's other incentives to do that. But we're doing this for our folks. Ronald, I love you. Jersey J, I love you. And everybody, Josh Blizzy, Donnie, Travis, Easy Daddy, everybody who's in the Whisper Listener League. There's 16 of us. We've been rolling for a while now, and you got to keep the league active, even if you're out. Even if you don't have a shot, play spoiler, keep it rolling. So I appreciate the competitive drive here, Ronald. But I'm sorry. We're going to go head to head. We're going to go square to square. I hope Justin Fields comes in. Speaking of, we got the Bears up right now and just gets it done, but we'll see. I think Bam is that gem league winner. Now, he also might be too. You're not wrong, but he has not locked down that job the way D'Onta Foreman has. Like, D'Onta Foreman looks like a fucking monster. And I am blown away that no other team in the NFL went out and acquired Foreman ahead of the trade deadline, because he was kicking ass before the deadline came and went. So I'm shocked that didn't happen. But you're right. This could actually happen too. The Jets look good. The Jets, especially with Mike White, man. The Jets were winning games with Wilson, with Zach Wilson behind center. And they were winning games with elite Joe Flacco behind center. And Mike White, like, actually looks good. So if that's happening, it's going to have to keep the defenses honest. Garrett Wilson looks good. Elijah Moore's not bad. Corey Davis can get it done for you. So the defense is going to have to stay honest. The opposing defense, the Jets defense, is really good. And, well, like, you know, they're at least got playmakers on the squad. And this is going to mean that even if Bam Knight isn't like a stud, this team is better than the Panthers team. And that's going to create bigger lanes, less stacked boxes. So I don't disagree, man. I like this one. I like Foreman as a potential late season running back winner. I like Knight as the same type of thing. Debo coming in, Fleabit saying Debo is never healthy. You just play him. That's not really the case, though, man. Like, when Debo's not healthy, he doesn't have the elite performances that he does when he's rocking. Now, he could still be like a wide receiver 2 for you and be like, oh, he didn't have a bad day. You know, he finished with like 50 rushing yards and like 45 receiving yards. Maybe he gets a touchdown. So like, it looks nice. But if Debo's healthy, he's paradigm shifting. If he's not healthy, he's a good player for you. So that's something to take into consideration, because he's got a lot of steez. Debo does. You just got to be kind of careful with where he's at. And there's no reason for Shanahan and the 49ers to ride Debo if they don't have to. And Ayuk has been playing the best year of his 3-year career thus far. Kittle is healthy again. That looks pretty good. Apparently CMC dodged a major bullet. So they just don't have to lean on Debo in the same way. And with all these other playmakers excelling, why would they? So something just to consider before you get your lineups started here. See if there's any questions before I jump into the Bears takes. Oh, I love dude, I love Watson, man. I'm a diehard Packers fan. Like, it's the football back there in the corner is a Packers football. I've been on him since we drafted him, and taking a look at his NDSU film. Like, this dude is special. He's just got drops. There's a problem, but like, so did Deontay Johnson. So did Devontae Adams. Like, you can... Drops for a wide receiver in the NFL are kind of like 3-point shooting for an otherwise all right skill player in the NBA. Like, you can actually learn how to shoot threes. Take a look at Baines. Take a look at Jason Kidd. Take a look at LeBron James. Take a look at a lot of players. You can learn to shoot a 3. You can also learn to reduce your drops. It happens all the time. It's weird. All right. Yep. I'm on Jordan Mason, says Flea. He does a hard work. I picked up Jordan Mason in a couple leagues. Fingers crossed in San Francisco land. He does pick up that Elijah Mitchell, because he was getting like as much work as CMC was. So Kyle Shanahan has a history of rocking multiple backs. CMC is a little bit banged up. If they do have either it's TDP, maybe it's Jordan Mason. Shit, maybe it's somebody else. You never know with the carousel that is the NFL. CMC is hurt, but he is active, just like Debo, so we'll see. All right. Oh, Adam Weber here. Weber. Nice to see you, Adam. Start 2, full point PPR. Mac Hollins, Rashad White, Jeff Wilson. I'm going with the running backs on here. Give me White. Give me Wilson. Gavin's going to jump in a minute. Or if you're Ben Simmons, you never learn. I don't know if he wants to learn, man. Fuck, dude, I want to see Ben Simmons thrive, mainly because my favorite play style of like any position in the NBA is a point guard whose scoring is like their 3rd best attribute. I love me like a mean distributor, rebounder, defensive menace, like not a liability on the offensive end, but a central focus to the offense who does so much more than just score. Like, prime Rajon Rondo is maybe my favorite NBA play style all time. And that dude to get like triple doubles all the time with like 11 points, 14 rebounds, and 19 assists or some weird shit like that. I'm like, what is this? Ben Simmons could have done that. I wanted to see Ben Simmons become that. I'm holding out. Maybe one point he will. All right, moving on now to the Chicago Bears. Chase Claypool, who's been dealing with a knee issue, was removed from the Week 13 injury report. He's going to play against the Packers. Nice. That's somewhat interesting given Darnell Mooney has had a season-ending injury in Week 12. I'm interested in Chase Claypool, especially with Justin Fields looking like he's going to be coming back. He practiced in full yesterday. It's not a guarantee that he's going to play on Sunday, but it is terrific news. 8:30 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday, you can tune in to the live lineup show with Travis Donnie, and they will be going over all of the updated bits of news and help you answer any questions. So the Justin Fields updates hopefully should be coming in between now and then. So stay tuned. I've got Justin Fields moved into my quarterbacking spot in the listener league, but I might have to move him out. So we'll see. All right. Let's see while this is loading in. Fleabit says he has Chase. He's a bust. You talking about Chase Edmonds, Jamar Chase, chasing success? Where are we at on this one? Because Jamar Chase might be coming back, and this man is not a bust, but he has been a bit disappointing with all of his injuries going on, but they're optimistic. He's going to play Week 13 against the Chiefs. Got in a full practice this afternoon. That was today, and is in great shape for Week 13 despite a questionable tag. There's been talk about him being on a snap count for this game, so keep that in mind. That is a good point to keep in mind. Claypool. Yeah, dude. Chase Claypool gave me like the saddest blue balls last season. So many opportunities going up against like pass funnel defenses. He should have been rocking fantasy scores and making big plays for his team, and he just didn't. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on Chase Claypool. I want to see him do well. He's got so many great physical attributes. He's got opportunities for multiple teams he plays with now, and he just still hasn't gotten it done yet. Freak is calling him a bust. What's up, Freak? Good to see you, man. Freak is calling him a bust. Flea's calling him a bust. He's on that trajectory for sure. We'll see. He's got a good new opportunity. If he doesn't do something with it, yeah, we really might officially be moving into that space. All right. So Jamar Chase, we talked about him. He's optimistic to come back. I want to throw one thing actually in here too. For people who are scared about Jamar Chase, because I got Jamar Chase in my league of record. Love Jamar Chase. The snap count is a real concern. You want to have those opportunities. But the injured hip, remember he had a small hip fracture, and they said it was like a 4 to 6 week injury recovery. They elected to not put him on the IR. They could have put him on the IR because I believe this will be 4 weeks that he's missed, but they chose not to do it. They thought he'd be able to get ahead of that recovery timeline. He's looking good for this week. If we go back to the game when he did have that hairline fracture, I think he got it in the New Orleans game, and then he played it the next week. There was a moment when Jamar Chase left the field and he was going through the tunnel and he fell down. Like he fell down in pain. I mean, think about that. Like a guy's like an NFL player who's been on the field is like in so much pain that he falls to the ground. Goes into the locker room. He ends up coming back and he has a crazy play. Like he scored a touchdown after he did that. So to me, if Jamar Chase was able to manage his pain tolerance so much so that he had an active fracture, fresh, like a 6-day-old fracture, a 7-day-old fracture that's causing him so much pain, he's falling down, but he's still able to enter the game, burn NFL defensive backs, and score like impressive touchdowns. That to me says a lot. So if Jamar Chase is getting the opportunity, Jamar Chase is there. There's no concern for me with Jamar Chase. I think it was Zach Taylor. Maybe it was another one of the Cincinnati coaches said, we're trying to protect Chase from himself. And that, I mean, as an NFL fantasy player, you love to hear that because you just don't want to see your studs stepping into opportunities with reservation. You want them to go in childlike. You want them to go in eager, hungry, aggressive. And if you've got a lingering injury in the back of your mind, it's really hard to kick it into that next year. It doesn't sound like Jamar Chase is that kind of dude we got to worry about. Now we'll see, but because his pain was so bad it caused him to fall down and then he still came in and scored an impressive touchdown, that is giving me a lot of hope for Jamar Chase rest of season. All right. Boyd has been worse without him. Fuck yeah, he has, dude. I picked up Boyd the week that Chase went down in my league of record. I'm like, oh, I got a good like handcuff receiver. That shit sure didn't pan out. No, sir, it did not. All right. Let's see. Actison, welcome to the show. We just chopped this up quite a bit. Christian Watson or Debo half-point PPR. I'm paying attention to any reports, any sniffs of a new report coming out because Debo is super special. Debo is one of the most electric, impactful, dynamic players in the NFL today. And he has some historic pedigree even to him, albeit a small sample size. He, though, is still banged up. Christian Watson is a physical freak. Like, let's not underestimate how off the charts Christian Watson's metrics are. And now he has shown an ability to play NFL football. Today, right now, I think I'm starting Christian Watson, man. That sounds weird. It sounds cute almost, but he's been on the field every single play. He's got a 2.7 plus yards per route run. He is Rodgers' number one weapon who is going to play this next week. We've seen Christian Watson get it done now short, get it done now on long plays. We've also seen him get it done in the red zone. So I think that we're going to I'm waiting for Jersey J to come up and say that I'm too far on Christian Watson, but until he shows me otherwise, I'm about 52%, 48% Christian Watson over Debo right now. A little bit of news could shift that, but that's where I'm at right now, Actison. Let's see here. Jamar is good. Jamar is good. Boyd will get a tutty this week. You're probably right. After I dropped him in my Liga record this week is now the week that he goes off and has another one of those like top 3 performances like he did earlier on. Freaks with me on the Watson take. I like it. Right here. Oh, we got hey, I'll take this one. Austin, I will admit I was 100% wrong about Watson. He's a beast. I thought he was a flutter. Well, cheers. We're all wrong every day with one thing or another. I'm glad that iron sharpens iron and we can come back together and make ourselves sharper for the next time we get a chance. Don't forget Watson's draft capital. They traded up to go get him. Yeah. Ooh, I'll just touch on this one. Where's Johnny been? Johnny's just dealing with family life. Johnny's got a newborn baby, and Johnny is so eager to be here. But just with everything going on at home with the new child, with baby Juniper there, just needed a little bit of time right now with the family to get everything right. But he's going to be back. He's going to be around, all the good stuff. All right, moving on now to, because we got some more interesting news here in Cincinnati camp. Joe Mixon still in concussion protocol. Pause on your Joe Mixon fire-ups. Start to prep your Samaje Perine fire-ups. Perine will get another full workload if in the Bengals backfield and should be treated as a PPR RB2. Perine in week 12 had 21 touches for 93 yards. You guys, let me know what you think. I'm considering starting Perine if he is the active starting running back for Cincinnati ahead of Alvin Kamara. Am I crazy on that one? Let me know. All right, let's see. So, and that's obviously only if Joe Mixon is officially ruled out. If Joe Mixon's in, I don't recommend starting Samaje Perine outside of insanely deep leagues that are like favorable to PPR. But yeah, okay, moving on. Cleveland Browns. Ooh, while this is loading up. Oh, is this news? Is this new news? Mixon cleared? This happened just like now? Okay, well, there you go. If Mixon's cleared then, do not fire up your Samaje Perines. Yeah. I do it, Austin. Do it. Kamara's on his last leg, bro. I know. Mixon is not cleared. Oh, this guy reminds me of Scott. Flea says he heard that. Okay, so we don't know yet. So far, no official word on Mixon being cleared or not. Stay tuned. Obviously, don't play Joe Mixon if he's not playing for the Bengals. Moving on to the Cleveland Browns, or David Njoku has been ruled out for week 13. This fucking sucks. I got to get a new tight end now for my legal record. I had Kyle Pitts and David Njoku, and they're both gone. So somebody new is coming on board. Who will it be? I'll have to go figure that one out. Oh. Deshaun Watson has been officially reinstated from his 11-game suspension. The blurb reads, Watson will start for the Browns against the Texans. Taking on his former team is what will undoubtedly be the biggest storyline of Week 13. Watson gets one of the easiest matchups imaginable for his return, even if he has some issues to iron out in his first game. The Browns will have no trouble leaning on the run against a woeful Texans defense. All Browns players see their fantasy stock boosted by Watson's return. We think their stock is up. Will their output increase? To be determined. But just keep in mind, if anybody was rocking Jacoby Brissett, now is the time to take him out. We'll see about Deshaun Watson's return. I'm so pissed about Njoku, dude. This sucks, man. It's like the second time David Njoku's been on pace for a tight end 1 year. And then he gets hurt second half. Sucks. CMC and Zay Jones cleared. Johnny D, we're coming up to these guys. CMC, I heard, is active. I've also heard that Zay Jones, we'll get to the Jaguars here in a little bit, but I heard positive things about Zay Jones. All right, moving on now to our next team, the Dallas Cowboys. We got Michael Gallup taken off. Well, no, he didn't. I guess he isn't taken off the injury report. He's sick. It's questionable Week 13. Mike McCarthy said he's confident Gallup will play Sunday. Going back to Week 12, he had 5 catches for 63 yards. Wide receiver group. He's a flex option in deeper leagues right now, but I'm not getting excited about Michael Gallup until I see him do something exciting, which just hasn't happened yet. Keep an eye out for Odell Beckham. He is making his tour right now as he has framed it. Dallas is on the list. We'll see. And we saw all of the relevant news out of Cowboys camp. Let's move it on over to the Broncos. Sorry about fake news. Mixon got upgraded to questionable. He will play. We'll see. Stay tuned. 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, an hour and a half before kickoff. TFW Live will be back in action, covering all of your lineup questions and sharing more updates on that. Cortland Sutton with the Denver Broncos has been sick. He's questionable Week 13 against the Ravens. He's not on the injury report before Friday. Is now listed as questionable, causing some legitimate concern. Y'all ever be sick before? It sucks. Like, if you're really sick, you're sick. So if he's sick and like there's not a lot of enthusiasm out of Denver Broncos camp and Cortland Sutton, I don't know how much of a self-starter he is. I've never worked with the man personally. I'm really concerned about Cortland Sutton. I'm fading him straight up, even if he's playing. If you're sick, that decreases a lot of your energy, and it sounds like it's a new illness, and he's legitimately questionable. Jerry Jeudy is questionable himself for Week 13. He's been out for a while with an ankle injury. We'll see if he is active on Sunday. I'm not recommending starting him. But if we do get positive reports out of Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton is out, I mean, even Russell Wilson's horrific numbers, the ball's still got to go somewhere. And so Jerry Jeudy might get a bump up on that realm. We'll see. Fuck. KJ Hamler's hamstring caused him to suffer a setback. He remains sidelined indefinitely. Setback. I'm just thinking about when he was all pissed off in the end zone when he got missed for that game-winning touchdown. No, I'm just kidding, kind of. But I do wish KJ Hamler was active because he would be a fun little dynasty stash. This is a good question. What do you think happens to Russ next year? I think we're going to learn a few things about Russell Wilson with the remaining games we have left. It's certainly been a disappointment, but the year's not over. Russell Wilson has been known as a leader. Now he's being seen as a leader whose hold on the team is slipping. We'll see how he rounds it out at the end of the year. Nathaniel Hackett has not looked like a good leader himself. It's easier for the Broncos to move on from Nathaniel Hackett and his contract situation compared to Russell Wilson. But is Nathaniel Hackett the sole problem here? I think Nathaniel Hackett is certainly a problem, and I think they need to move on from him. Also, bringing back a little of the origin, he was Aaron Rodgers' quarterback coach. Aaron Rodgers said a lot of positive things about Nathaniel Hackett. The Broncos thought they were going to get Aaron Rodgers, or at least trying to situate themselves up to get Aaron Rodgers, and then they didn't. So maybe Nathaniel Hackett was meant to be a pilot hole for a screw that never came. And instead, they just got screwed by Russell Wilson, who looks like he might have had some favors done for him by Pete Carroll. Now, it was Russell Wilson throwing the moon balls. It was Russell Wilson run into throw. It was Russell Wilson, ultimately making some of those good decisions and earning all of those Pro Bowl appearances. But there's a weird vibe about Russell Wilson, right? I think he's a little fake. I think he tries really hard. Doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. It just doesn't mean we know exactly who he is. So what happens to Russ next year? I think they probably start him again next year. If let's just say the season ended right now, I think he's the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos next year, with his seat being very hot, and then maybe preparing alternative plans, maybe picking up a high-end backup quarterback, maybe drafting a quarterback this year, something like that, just to give themselves some options moving forward, because this defense is good, man. And there's a lot of playmakers on the squad on both sides of the ball. And Russell Wilson looks like he's not doing anybody any favors in a lot of ways. So we will see about that. Flea thinks he's going to be in Denver next year. He will be in Denver next year, because who's going to acquire Russell Wilson after this season? And the Broncos invested so much into him. First off, they just invested a lot in that. Even if they didn't care about saving face or eating crow or any of the embarrassment, it's just a really expensive position they find themselves in, and it might be worth considering some other options to work with Russell Wilson next year. But like I said, planning some ancillary alternative pathways ahead. We'll see. I appreciate this, Jersey J, as always. Agree with you here, Ronald. All right, moving on now from Russell Wilson's Denver Broncos and over to the United States of America's Detroit Lions. I don't think that's too much hyperbole. We all love the Lions after this year's Hard Knocks, right? DeAndre Swift is not on the Lions injury report. Love that. Just love to see talented players have an opportunity to show us what they're about. They write, Swift has made an appearance on Detroit's injury report, and every week outside of the opening trio of practices for the 2022 season, it's possible he's finally passed the ankle and shoulder injuries that have plagued him throughout the year. That would be enormous. We'll see. Jameson Williams. Dan Campbell said it would take a lot when asked about the possibility of Jameson Williams playing in week 13. So it sounds like they're working him in. Even if Jameson Williams comes back, I'm not playing him week 1. He is an interesting stash. He's a great dynasty piece, but this year in redraft, there's a learning curve in the NFL. I don't care how good you are, especially the wide receiver position. Jameson Williams hasn't played football in a long time. He's never played football at this level. He is one of the most advanced wide receivers of this draft class. I mean, what he did, dude, Jameson Williams is fucking awesome, but he hasn't played football in a long time. So be careful getting excited about Jameson Williams, but I think there is reasons to keep our eyes open and monitor the situation. Another receiver, though, that I think we can get excited about is Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got no news on him. So lock him up. Roll him forward. All right, here. What's up, Joker? Dave Montgomery, Rashad White, Jamal Williams, or Jeff Wilson, full point PPR. It's hard not to start Jamal Williams, man. This guy is... And then he just had that crazy long touchdown run. I don't like Swift being fully healthy for Jamal Williams. David Montgomery should get a lot of work. I think I'm going David Montgomery number 1. And then it's pretty close because Rashad White's dealing with Lenny. Jamal Williams is dealing with Swift. Jeff Wilson is probably going to be my number 2 option here. Then Rashad White, then Jamal Williams. But it's really close for me after all those other pieces, Joker. All right. Moving on now to my Green Bay Packers. Romeo is questionable for the Packs Week 13 game against Chicago. He looked solid in practice yesterday when asked before about Friday's session. Dubs was officially limited all week. It makes sense for them to hold him out another week. Look, let's say he's not, though. I'm actually more concerned about Christian Watson. Like, Romeo was getting the number 1 role. A lot of people have the number 1 role this year for the Packers, but I think it is Christian Watson's, and it should be Christian Watson as long as he's healthy. He is the most physically talented player on the team. He's had the biggest impact on the team over this recent stretch. Looks like the rapport with Rodgers is developing. All of that hampers Romeo Doubs because they don't play. Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw the ball a lot. You know what I mean? So it's like This isn't one of those like chuck the rock 50 times, 350 air yards or receiving yards to be distributed around. Aaron Rodgers is giving you like 220 passing yards. Got a chunk of those going Aaron Jones, and then they're going to be scattered around. I don't think Dubs is going to be a recommended option. Aaron Rodgers, like we said, is not on Green Bay's final Week 13 injury report, but that doesn't mean he's 100% healthy. I love this. He's taking off the injury report as if that means he's not injured anymore. Like, okay, Aaron Rodgers isn't injured anymore. This dude is like farts and falls over at this point. Like, I don't know about that. All right, moving on to, oh my God, the Houston Texans. This team looks horrible right now. Let's see. We got any Swift finally healthy. It looks like that. We hope it's true. Moving on here now to the Texans, who are just despicable. I hate calling like an organization despicable, but the spirit looks like it's just gone. And I was hoping for more out of Lovie Smith right now. I was hoping that we'd see the team continuing to rally, and it looks like they've lost a bit of the spirit over there in Houston. And not all bad teams do. It looks like Houston though has, and I was pulling for them. So we'll see how they wrap it out. Brandon Cook's calf is not going to play Week 13. This is what I'm talking about. Like, maybe his calf is really hurting, or maybe he's just like, you're hurting me and I don't give a shit anymore, so piss off. That's something you got to consider in these kinds of situations. Dameon Pierce is another one who had been a fringe RB1 for many weeks this year, and now his efficiency looks horrible. What is the commitment level of these offensive players? Like, yeah, they're professionals, but there's a difference between like being a professional and showing up, and then like being a professional and giving it your fucking all. And nobody in the Houston Texans, well, I shouldn't say nobody, but that team as a whole is certainly not giving it their all. Don't start any Texans. I agree. PPR, Pierce or Pacheco. What's up, Rafi? Good to have you, Gronk. I'm starting Pacheco on this one. Dameon Pierce, I love him. It's been like my RB2 in the listener league all season long. I dropped Pacheco after he was like the third member of the committee, and I would like to have Pacheco right now starting in my lineup ahead of Pierce. All righty. Kyle Allen's going to start. Who cares? Indianapolis Colts. Jelani Woods been dealing with a shoulder and a quad injury. He's kept him out of practice this week. I'm leaning away from Jelani Woods outside of long-term deep leagues. Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor. That's it for me out of Indianapolis right now. Jacksonville Jaguars are a little interesting, though. Before I jump into the Jags, I want to take a look at some of the comments here. Just talked about Pierce. With a player like Pierce, it's sad. Pierce should be a league-winning back. He's on the wrong team. Yeah, man. Like, the environment you're in is a real thing. And also I have Alvin Kamara. I'm a little concerned about him. Like, he's so good, but this whole team is not good. I'm hoping that Alvin Kamara finds something to play for to pull me through these fantasy playoffs, because he got a really good playoff matchup set. But yeah, I just dropped Cooks for Sky Moore. Interesting. I'm not big on Sky Moore. I just haven't been big on Sky Moore since like the whole industry lost their nuts over Sky Moore after he was like the 13th or 14th wide receiver drafted. I know he's exciting play style wise, but wasn't exciting enough to be taken before all the other players. And now though, like Mecole Hardman was still on the squad. He's on the IR right now. MBS, that experiment looks settled. Sky Moore has an opportunity to come in and do some work. We'll see about it. I like that move a lot. I don't think Cooks is the answer for you moving forward. And Sky Moore's, while I'm not like putting a big bet on him, he certainly has a clear pathway to being a huge impact player for your fantasy team this year. Would like to see him starting to get it going on this. All right. To my Jacksonville Jaguars here. Zay Jones. We had a comment about Zay Jones earlier. His chest is keeping him questionable for Week 13 against the Lions. Got a trio of limited practices in this week and should be able to play. Came up 145-yard performance versus the Ravens. Yeah, he's been like a low-key decent option for you. Another guy I had in the listener league that I dropped early on. Here's the big news, though. Travis Etienne, who's been a solid RB1 for you the majority of this year, is questionable Week 13, but head coach Doug Peterson said Etienne is good to go. The questionable tag shouldn't scare off fantasy managers. Etienne left Week 12 with that foot issue. I saw him smiling on the sideline, though. They won that game. I'm starting ETN in my league of record this week. Would you start ETN or Samaje Perine? Let me know. I'm going to start. If Mixon is out, I think I'm going to start Perine over Kamara. But let's say that. Who would you start? Samaje Perine if Joe Mixon is out, or Travis Etienne, who's coming off that foot issue? Let me know what you're thinking, guys. And that looks though to be all the news. Over here to the Kansas City, Sky Moore's Kansas City Chiefs. Tasty Hasty, JaMychal Hasty, who filled in and had a horrible efficiency day on the ground, but a bunch of fantasy points for your squad if you had him. I had him in my Dynasty League, actually, but JaMychal Hasty's got a crazy one-cut move. I remember that back with San Francisco. He came in a couple years ago, and I was like, man, this guy he's got some bounce to him. Right. Let's see. In the playoffs with Sky Moore makes a difference. It's a good stash. I like that. ETN over Perine. Jersey J says Perine, though, over ETN. Should I start Samaje Perine if Mixon's out, or Travis Etienne, who missed most of last week with that foot issue, but Doug Peterson says is good to go. So we'll see. Moving on now to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kadarius Toney's hamstring has kept him out of last week. It's going to keep him out of this week as well. No Kadarius Toney action this week. That's the name I was trying to remember ahead of Sky Moore. I was like, that's such a funny wide receiver group for the Chiefs this year. McKinnon didn't practice. This is older news. So we're moving on now. That's all the news out of Kansas City Chiefs. Get your studs going. Kelsey, obviously, Patrick Mahomes. I like Juju this week. I think Juju's all right. I think he's like a mid-level wide receiver too. Pretty solid. Just know it could go either way with wide receivers as always. Las Vegas Raiders. What's up, Emmanuel? Hope you're doing well. Also, Chris Godwin or Brandon Ayuk in a standard. Also, Pierce, Pacheco, or Fournette in my flex. I think I like Godwin over Ayuk. Unless we get any news about Godwin taking a step back, getting hurt. I like how Godwin and Brady have connected this year. I think the Bucs need to win. I think there's a lot of trust. On the Ayuk side, he looks good this year. He's reportedly in the best shape he's ever been in. He's certainly out of the doghouse for Kyle Shanahan. Him and Garoppolo have demonstrated better rapport all season long. But he's not a main vein. Like Kittle, Debo, CMC, Ayuk, they can create a lot of different pathways for the ball to flow. And I don't see a main vein. I mean, Debo's the main vein for the 49ers if he's fully active and healthy. He's not going to be fully healthy, so it's probably going to be more of this divided role. Godwin, I think, has more a chance to be the vein for this offense. That's why I'm going to lean Godwin over Ayuk. Not by a lot, but maybe 60-40. Pierce, Pacheco, or Fournette in your flex. We just talked a little bit about this. Pierce versus Pacheco has been a really popular in-between for you, Whisper Nation. Interesting. I'm leaning Pacheco ahead of Pierce. Love Dameon Pierce, but I hate the Texans and their lack of enthusiasm. He's been 2.7 yards per carry or something the last several weeks for Dameon Pierce. Pacheco's on the up. Or Fournette. Talked a little bit about Rachaad White versus Fournette earlier on. Fournette has history. Fournette's not bad at all. I was a big Fournette supporter coming into this year. I just have seen what Rachaad White's done the last couple of weeks, and he's had greater efficiency than Fournette has had all season, minus week 1. So I think I got to lean Pacheco as I see the role he's in for. I'm not surprised if Fournette gets 2 touchdowns, though. That's just the type of player on the offense that he is. So Pacheco has small legs. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Pacheco is maybe he does small legs. He has 27 reps on his bench press coming in, though, and he's really fast. So he's got a really strong upper body, at least from that bench press. I haven't seen his squat numbers, but I've seen his burst score and his 40 time, and he's fast and athletic as fuck, and he can lift the bench press a lot of times. So I don't know what the slander on Pacheco is about, Flea, but let me know if there's some more information that I am not aware of that is fueling your insights here. Jersey loves the Bengals, but adore the Giants. Yes, sir. Godwin is the new Evans. different play style though, right? Like Evans is that like go up and get it. Godwin is that catch it, take it type of role, different play style, but maybe Godwin has moved into that number one role. I wouldn't disagree with you on that. All right, here. Moving over to Josh Jacobs, who was also a beast, looking insanely good this year. If you got him in the 4th round or wherever you did, you're certainly loving that. His calf is keeping him questionable week 13 against the Chargers. This was the same kind of news we got last week. And then obviously Josh Jacobs came in and broke you over a 40 burger or whatever he ended up getting. It was awesome. I'm feeling good about Jacobs. He's super tough, keeps his head down, gets it going. Zamir White would fill in, though, if we do get some Josh Jacobs updates. And keep in mind, Josh Jacobs has done this to us a lot. Like, he doesn't share a lot of information. He doesn't care about your fantasy team. He doesn't care about transparent information flows. Like, so you got to monitor some of the information. And even though he played last week, it doesn't guarantee he's going to play this week, although it does give me personally optimism. Looking like all of the news out. Oh, unsure about Hunter Renfrow playing week 14. Don't play him in your fantasy week, though, either. Josh McDaniels also said he's unsure whether Darren Waller is going to play in week 14. I wouldn't start him this week either myself, unless you're, I mean, maybe if you were at Njoku and who's not playing anymore, but take a look at your waiver wire. There's always a tight end who's about to get you double-digit points. I don't care what league you're in. There's a tight end on your waiver wire who's going to get double-digit points this week. So take a look at that before you drop Darren Waller in. Chargers popping up now. Don't forget that Fournette stole that job from Ronald Jones. Did he steal it, or is this like Fournette coming in and cracking the safe to steal the goods, or is this a case of Ronald Jones just like leaving his goods on a park bench and walking away for a week, and then his goods got stolen? I don't know. You tell me. All right. There we go. Here, moving over to the Chargers updates. Mike Williams, BMW, is not going to play week 13 against the Raiders. Ankle's keeping him out. Yeah, it's week 13 this week. I said week 14, talking on Waller and Hunter Renfrow. So obviously Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller are not playing this week. Maybe we get them back next Sunday. We'll see. Stay tuned. BMW, though, out this week. Fire up your Josh Palmers if you got him as a fill-in. That's looking like all of the updates out of Chargers camp. Moving over to the other team in LA. Manuel asked, do I like Greg Dulcich this week? I like Greg Dulcich this week as much as I like a streaming tight end. Like, I don't think Greg Dulcich with this Denver Broncos team is like an answer for you, but like, yeah, I like him. I like his play style. I like his seeming rapport. I don't dislike him this week. What up, Nick? Who do I like at flex? Pacheco, Cordero Patterson, Raheem Mostert, or AJ Dillon? Pretty much going in that order. Pacheco, Patterson, Mostert, AJ Dillon. I might put AJ Dillon ahead of Mostert. Stay tuned for updates coming in about especially the last two running backs. But I think I'm going to go in that order, Nick. Thanks for tuning in. And guys, if you like what you're listening to and if you haven't hit this stream with a thumbs up, do me a favor, please do that. It allows us to connect with more fantasy football fans out there, and connecting with y'all is literally my favorite thing to do. So please do me that one. And if you want to get more of this action coming your way, you can always subscribe to the channel. We got weekly comment coming out all of the time. John Wolford is going to start for the Rams against the Seahawks week 13. Don't start him in your fantasy league. Fade all pass catchers. Wow, what a fall from grace. Super Bowl champs looking like sophomore chumps. But they've been dealing with a lot. We'll see. Matt Stafford's out. We knew that. Cam Akers did not practice on Wednesday. This was earlier. I'm just fading everybody in a Rams uniform. Not fading everyone in a Dolphins uniform, though. Raheem Mostert knee is not on Miami's final week 13 injury report against the 49ers. Got a full session to end the week and will likely be the weak side of a committee with Jeff Wilson. Low-end flex. I agree with that take on Mostert. So it's good to see that he's off the injury report and got a full practice. That is reassuring. 2-0 with another full practice. Love to see it. And that's all the updates. Fire up your studs, get your Tyreeks, your Waddles, your Jeff Wilsons, your Tuas, all looking nice. Mostert if you got to. Did I see Mac Jones yelling at the play caller? That could be big. I didn't personally see it, but I've heard a little bit of this seeming divide or this tension emerging between Belichick and Mac Jones. And that doesn't surprise me. Bill Belichick has been running the most boring vanilla offense in what has quickly become a more dynamic NFL. You guys know I think Bill Belichick is a suppressor. I tried to unload the entire clip of my Bovada account onto the New England Patriots under on their season win totals. I just couldn't find the features button on there to put my $400 in there, but I wanted to because I have no faith in Bill Belichick being able to keep up with the modern NFL. Now, Bill Belichick has shown us that he's still an incredible defensive mind. He's obviously, one of the most storied and incredible coaches to ever hold the position. But today is 2022. Next year it's 2023. The players are getting younger, but Bill Belichick is not. So I think we're starting to see a little bit of this. That could be big. It could be big because I think Bill Belichick is fucking up. And I think that everybody knows it. And I think we can only let him ride off of previous success for so long. Right. Moving on now to the Minnesota Vikings, where Dalvin Cook's stats from last week are the only updates that we have. So we're going to move on to the New Orleans Saints. Juwan Johnson, who's been a nice tight end play the last couple of weeks, getting a lot of touchdown action. Him and Andy Dalton certainly have a thing going on. But he didn't practice on Thursday. That's not good. It was a new addition to the report. You hate that. An in-game injury would help explain Johnson's 2-target donut against the 49ers week 12. Johnson's Friday status will be key ahead of Monday night's matchup with Tampa Bay. Sounds like we got to fade out of Juwan Johnson. Sounds like he's hurt. He was already a questionable start to begin with. That's all of the news. Taysom Hill, I'd like as a streaming tight end for you, given the tight end position, unless you got yourself a Travis Kelce or a Mark Andrews. Even though Taysom Hill hasn't done a lot for you recently, Taysom Hill, what he brings to the table is unlike any other player in the NFL in the way that the Saints use him. And he also had some fractured rib cartilage. He had another one of those rib issues. So he's getting more healthy, which I think is going to increase his intensity on how he takes it in. All right. What's up? Albert, do I like Pirine over Miles Sanders if Mixon is out? We've been asking a lot about Pirine over Alvin Kamara, which I think I'll do. If Mixon is out, then I'm going to play Pirine over Alvin Kamara. Do I play Pirine over Travis Etienne this week? Kind of on the fence about that. You're asking, should you play Pirine over Miles Sanders as Mixon is out? I don't think so, man. I like Miles Sanders a lot. I like this Eagles offense a whole bunch. And Miles Sanders is just getting it done. He's an excellent running back. He's a better running back than Samaje Perine. The Eagles, I think, are a better team than the Cincinnati Bengals. No, I think Perine's ceiling is higher than... I think Sanders' ceiling and floor are both higher than Perine. So it would take some weird outcomes for Perine to ultimately have a better day on this. Great question, though. I love this. I love all the Perine comparisons and questions here. All right, we got Jay's New York Giants. Darius Slayton is sick, didn't practice Thursday. A lot of people being sick. Two things worth noting here. Gary Brightwell is Slayton's locker room neighbor, and he apparently caught it from him. Brightwell returned to practice today. Okay. Reading the prognosis of the injury. The other is that the Giants did not actually practice today, and this is a projection. Still, this does introduce some uncertainty of Slayton's status for Sunday. We'd bet on him being on the optimistic side of questionable if he draws the tag. I would as well. He is sick, though, which means you should temper some expectations. It's not fun to do anything super physical when you're sick. We've all been sick and know what I'm talking about. Daniel Bellinger was limited to Wednesday's practice. Not really a ton of news, and that is all of our Giants updates. Moving on to the other team in New Jersey. G-Man, just a shout out here for you, Jay. Giants have been a fun story with Brian Dable and everything going on. Talking about the Jets now, though, Robert Saleh said Michael Carter ankle is doubtful for Week 13 against the Vikings. Carter did not practice this week following his Week 12 ankle injury. Would open up early down duties for Zonovan Bam night while Ty Johnson functions as New York's primary pass-catching option. We'll also see about James Robbins. We don't know. So all this news is about Michael Carter. Zonovan Knight, though, let's just read what they say here. The Athletics' Zach Rosenblatt believes running back Zonovan Knight has earned a role in the Jets' backfield regardless of Michael Carter's ankle injury. That's true. I think so as well. It's just now how many members of this committee are active. If Carter is not in it, it's a borderline committee with Zonovan Knight and Ty Johnson, depending on James Robinson. If James Robinson is feeling great, and James Robinson recovers from things really fast and performs really unexpectedly. So you can never count out James Robinson. So it's a lot of ifs in there, but if some of those ifs line up, I think Zonovan Knight has another great week, and I like the Jets overall. And I also like the Philadelphia Eagles over. Now we got Ronald Collins. We got the Philadelphia Eagles here coming in. Hopefully reminding us that Mixon will play, but that is not official. He's just a Cincinnati guy and is really feeling it. So it's not official yet. But we got folks in Cincinnati saying he will play. We will see, Whisper Nation. That's not an official statement. It is just more predictions coming in. Stay tuned or tune in to Sunday morning's live lineup show with Travis and Donnie, where all of your questions will get answered. We'll have more information on the table. That's going to be going down at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, an hour and a half before kickoff. All right. Yeah. Eagles best team in football, baby. I think you are correct on this. Devonta Smith was removed from the week 13 injury report. He's going to play against the Titans. He was dealing with a groin issue, upgraded to full practice to close the week. You'd love to see it. They've got him ranked here as a low-end wide receiver 2. I think so as well, but he also brings a lot of upside. And that's all of the updates. Dallas Goedert, of course, is on the IR. He's hoping to return week 15. That could impact playoff lineups. Stay tuned. Eagles are beasts. Yeah, they look so good. They look awesome. And they've got a dynamic enough team. Like, Hurts is throwing the ball fine. He's running the ball insanely well. A.J. Brown is a monster. Devonta Smith, we forget about him, and he is really good too. Miles Sanders is good. Gainwell's not bad. Their defense is top 5. Like, the Eagles can get it done in a lot of different ways, which means when they're having a bad day in one area, another part of their squad might be sharp enough to get it done for the Eagles overall anyways. I love this storyline right now. All right. Najee Harris with the Steelers said he's good. He's going to play week 13. Harris was surprisingly removed from Pittsburgh's final injury report. Harris didn't practice on Wednesday or Thursday, but off a limited practice, we'll try to gut this one out against the lowly Falcons defense. With Jaylen Warren back, both backs will probably be in on the flex range on Sunday. Want my Benny Snell sneaky pickup. Got to tell you guys, I was so proud of myself. I picked up Benny Snell before the Monday night game last week. I dropped Travis Homer, who I just had as a stasher, and I got Benny Snell just on that off chance that we saw an injury go down, and then we did, and then Benny Snell had a really good game, and I'm feeling super smart. And then Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren both might be back, meaning Benny Snell might do absolutely nothing, but I still got to feel smart for a second there. Do it for the dopamine. Jaylen Warren said doctors have cleared him to return from his hamstring injury, and he expects to play week 13 against the Falcons. Warren may still have his reps monitored in practice, but he will be good to go for week 13 after missing one game because of that hamstring issue. Got a lot of banged up backs, especially at the top 2 with Najee and Jaylen. We'll see how the committee breaks out, if there is a committee. We'll see. Tune in on Sunday. Moving on now to the San Francisco 49ers. All right, we talked a lot about Deebo. Let's read what the latest report has been. Deebo Samuel's quad, keep questionable for San Francisco's Week 13 game against Miami. Samuel did not do much in practice today, per Kyle Shanahan's own admission, and Shanahan said the team was expecting him to go full by now, but it didn't happen. It certainly sounds like Samuel is on the pessimistic side of questionable. Jennifer Lee Chan of NBC Sports Bay Area reports that Samuel has a deep bruise on his thigh that has not healed as quickly as the 49ers hope. Okay, the deep thigh bruise hurts like a lot. It's a lot better, though, than some of these other possible injuries. It's not encouraging that he was expected to be full and he's not, but that report of what the injury is, that gives you a bit of an uptick. Jordan Mason. Jimmy Garoppolo hinted running back Jordan Mason will see an increased role in Week 13 game against the Dolphins. Yes. He makes it tough on defenses, and I think those are body blows that wear on you in the fourth quarter. So it'll be interesting to see a full game with him. Garoppolo said when asked about Mason's tough running in Week 12 against the Saints, Christian McCaffrey, who dealt with some knee pain in Week 12, said he dodged a bullet and feels ready to go for this week's game against Miami. We can expect CMC to lead the Niners backfield, but we've also seen Kyle Shanahan deploy multiple backs like all the time. So Elijah Mitchell was still getting it done for you even when CMC was rocking the 49ers jersey. We just said about CMC, he dodged a bullet, is knee issue, and expects to get a full workload in Week 13. He feels great, McCaffrey said after Week Thursday's practice. The best possible update after McCaffrey was limited in San Francisco's grind it out Week 12 win over the Saints, especially since Elijah Mitchell is now done for the season. All right. So factor all of that in. I still expect we're going to get 2 running backs with some meaningful opportunities out of San Francisco. CMC will be one. Is it going to be Mason? Will it be Davis Price? Will it be some guy we haven't spoken about up until next week? We will find out. But factor this news in to your lineup decisions. I see a lot of action going on in the chat. I'm going to make sure we get to all of the questions before we close it down today. Few teams left to get through. Seattle Seahawks are not going to be one of them because they haven't updated us with anything since last week. 15 targets from a dude DK, 11 catches, 90 yards though, man. We got to get more. Let's tune that up. Let's get another above 100-yard game for the physical one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving on. Here's everybody's boy, Leonard Fournette. He's got a hip issue. He practiced it in full today. That is significant. It's back-to-back full practices for Fournette. It's going to be hard to trust him with the starting spot in season-long leagues, unless we hear reasons to be optimistic about his workload, but he could steal enough snaps to drag Rachaad White down with him. So, I mean, the way they're proposing it here is that it's Rachaad White's backfield and Leonard Fournette would be the one taking away from Rachaad White. We got also a lot of folks saying, no, it's still Leonard Fournette. So this looks like we're going to be taking a long, hard look at the outcome of this game. A lot of predictions people are making about who, though, at the running back position for the Bucs is the one to start this week and how recommended to start either one would really be. So we'll see. I like Rachaad White to outperform Leonard Fournette this week, but you can't take that to the bank. There's a lot of reasons to suggest that Leonard Fournette is actually going to be the one given his back-to-back full practices. Stay tuned. Russell Gage is hamstring. He practiced on Thursday. I don't care, man. I wanted so much more out of you this season. It's been such a bummer. I'm not recommending starting him. Him and Julio Jones should split time on the field at that wide receiver 3 role, and this Bucs offense just isn't it. Okay. That's all the news here we've got on Tampa Bay. Moving on now. 2 more squads left. Tennessee Titans and then the Commandos. Treylon Burks. He's sick. He didn't practice yesterday. Another guy with a sickness keeping him out. A couple of days between Thursday and Sunday. We'll see if it's enough time for Burks to get healthy because he's been a very legitimate startable piece for you the last couple of weeks. We'll see. So if he is playing, I do like him as like a flex option. The sickness though is concerning because like we've all been sick. You just know what it's like. You're just not as good. And that's something to consider moving in if you're between Burks and someone else. Ryan Tannehill ankle not on final injury report. There we go. All right. And that's from a couple weeks ago, so who cares? Last update here, the Washington Commanders, Antonio Gibson is listed as questionable for Week 13 against the Giants. Got a foot issue. Gibson had the dreaded Thursday downgrade and did not practice after logging a limited session on Wednesday. He has a shot to suit up in an important divisional matchup against the Giants, but could be limited if his foot injury lingers. Brian Robinson has operated as the Commanders' lead back with his big hat of late and has a more stable fantasy floor than Gibson right now. That's just true. I was talking a lot about like the spirit of teams. You know, the Saints aren't looking that great. The Houston Texans look abysmal. The Washington Commandos, though, are on the up. I think the news of Dan Snyder being gone was a bit of fresh news for everybody in that organization. I mean, this organization has just been run so embarrassingly for a long time. I mean, when you've got official Washington mugs that have the state of Washington behind your logo. When you had that Sean Taylor statue that you came out, come on, guys, this is fucking horrible. And now that we got Dan Snyder on the way out, at least exploring options with Bank of America, I think the whole team is buying in. Tyler Heineke is looking really good, looking better than Carson Wentz. I want to see what they do with Sam Howell, to be honest. Their rookie quarterback. I think he is going to be a nice quarterback in the future in a couple of years. But it looks like Tyler Heineke is going to continue with that role. He's earned it. I like this for Terry McLaurin. I like Brian Robinson. That's really all I really like on this. But I am excited to watch what the Washington Commandos continue to do. So that's all the news and notes, Whisper Nation. Been really cool rocking with you. But let me get some of these questions going. Working my way. I live in Northern Virginia. All my friends are Washington fans. It's so sad what the franchise has become. Right, man. I want to root for Washington, especially when they were called the Washington football team. I personally just love that. And you can't root for them right now. They're not a well-run team, and they're morally questionable, and they're not fun. And yeah, I'm with you, ML. Thanks for tuning in here. You all laughed at me when I said Heineke would take over. Like, who's laughing now, Jay? Now, Heineke has definitely taken over, and Wentz is done. And I am curious again what Sam Howell's about. Yeah, don't play Gibson. Do not play Gibson. Don't do it. I agree. Oh, okay. Austin, above is my trade question. Let's do it. Where's it at? Where's it at? Oh, I traded DK for Stevenson. I needed an RB. You approve? Yeah. I don't think it's like a steal. I think it's I think it's a good horizontal move. And you might even gotten a little bit of an uptick. Like, the thing about DK Metcalf is that I think he's going to perform better than he has. He's got targets, snap percentage. He's clearly got good rapport with Geno Smith. He just hasn't had like a stupid blow up game yet. And I think it's coming. He's got the play style. The team needs him to play well. I think it's all the things of lining up. It just hasn't hit yet. So I do think DK, don't be shocked if you see some blow up DK games, but I like the Stevenson ad. He's a good receiving back. He's a good running back. Damian Harris keeps getting hurt. Regardless of Harris's involvement, it should be Stevenson. We'll see if it is. I like Stevenson a lot. I think this is a fair trade on this one, my guy. All right. Let's see questions. Jordan Mason going to run the rock. I sure hope so. Yes. Sneakily picked him up in a couple of leagues. Also, would love to see it. Rafi asking, it wouldn't shock me if Coleman goes straight from practice squad to CMC. Yeah, we'll see. Questions. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Grab Snell and the listener. Man, it sucks when it's not going to look like it's going to do anything, right? Good ad. Smart pickup. This is an interesting point. J-Rob was a healthy scratch. Jets saw something at night. Not wrong. Knight or Swift? I go Swift on this one. Like, and again, Knight might outperform if, he gets 85% of the touches and has something to prove, and he totally could. But we know Swift is good. He's looking to be as healthy as he's been in a long time. I like the matchup against the Jaguars. Going Knight over Swift would just be too cute for me on this one. I'm going Swift on this one. Fingers crossed though for Knight. Okay. ML said, "Yo, Austin, today Dr. Jesse Moore said he's hearing rumblings that Michael Thomas might return in a couple of weeks. Have you heard anything about it?" I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't heard, but full disclosure, I'm not really paying attention to Michael Thomas. He's off my radar now at this point after this many years. I'm just going in a different direction. No, I haven't heard anything though about it. Same guy who traded me Stevenson traded Walker for Keenan Allen and Hawkinson. Now he has only B-Rob. He's in the playoffs. I was thinking, oh man, isn't it funny the way all this stuff ends up working out? I mean, if you ended up trading James Robinson after his like incredible first 1, 2, 3 week performance with the Jaguars, and got Pacheco in some deal later, like, you're feeling really good about it. It's an NFL season. It's short, but it's also long, and you got to stay active because things can change really, really fast. You're never out of it until you're fully, fully out of it. So keep rocking with us, Whisper Nation. Keep rocking with your fantasy teams, and don't give up. And even if you're out, just keep playing for the integrity of the league. It's more fun as well, but keep going. Like, you can sneak into the playoffs and then get yourself a Zonovan White, get yourself a, let's say Sky Moore, ends up going off. And then you got now you got 2 pivotal pieces, coming in. Maybe you picked up Justin Fields midseason and he comes back healthy from the shoulder. And now you got like a legit elite quarterback, and you got a back end RB1, and you got you got Christian Watson, just recently, and you got a potential wide receiver 1 over there. You keep playing fantasy football because weird things happen. They always do. And if you stay active, you really give yourself a legitimate chance. All right. I trust my sister giving Watson a massage before. I trust Michael Thomas in my lineup. I hear you on that. Gibson has outscored Robinson all but 2 games. I think that's true, but he's hurt right now, and Robinson looked really good last week. And he's got that big hat now, and who knows what comes with that. So Gibson's arrow is pointing down. Brian Robinson's arrow is pointing up. I think that is something to strongly consider. Everyone hates Lenny Bezos. I don't hate Lenny, man. I love Lenny. I love Leonard Fournette. I've loved Leonard Fournette since coming out of LSU and his days in Jacksonville, and I encourage a lot of people to pick him up. I love that Leonard Fournette giggles when he gets hit. He has his pain and reward receptors wired different than the majority of human beings, and I love his vibe. Uncle Lenny all the way. I'm just trying to get you fantasy points right now. So if he gets you in for a couple of touchdowns, hell yeah. And he just rocks a different vibe. Like, he can come in overweight. He could be smoking cigarettes before the game, and I'm not doubting what Uncle Lenny is capable of. Just got to look at all the surrounding variables, and Rachaad White is pretty good. So, all right. Let's see. Make sure I get all the questions. Do Seahawks keep Geno? Why not? I'm going between Geno Smith and Trevor Lawrence in my league of record. Trey Lance was my quarterback I picked up in the 9th round, and then, that happened. He's out. So I'm going back and forth between Geno and Trevor Lawrence, and Geno Smith has been good, dude. He's like a top 8 quarterback, like in all formats. And if you look at his deeper metrics, like, he's number 1 in big time throws, deep throw attempts, deep throw completions. He's top 5. Like, he's getting it done. He's getting it done in big time moments. He's getting it done on the ground. He's got a little bit of rushing ability to him. Pete Carroll has had nothing but positive reports out of Geno. I don't know. I think it's looking like a rest. They're above 500, and this is a team we all thought was going to be like total dog shit, and they are a contender for the playoffs. I think the Seahawks I bet the Seahawks make it into the playoffs. I kind of hope they do. It's just a good storyline. I think they do keep Geno. I think they might explore other options. Maybe they draft like a young quarterback because Geno's in his 30s, but I think it makes a lot of sense to keep Geno as the quarterback next year and make improvements at other positions, right? Like, this team's above 500. They could make it in. They got 2 really good wide receivers. They got an excellent young running back. Defense is okay. Invest in other places. And the Seahawks team could take a jump next year. Same guy who traded me Stevenson traded away, assuming this is Ken Walker, for Keenan Allen and Hawkinson. Now, so he only has B-Rob and is in the playoffs. He slaughtered his team. You can't get rid of Ken Walker, man. I drafted Ken Walker in my redraft league of record. I drafted him in like single-digit rounds to like 8th round. And this is when Rashad Penny was there, just because I believed in Ken Walker's run style that much. Yeah, I think that's sad, man. Like, I like Hawkinson. Hawkinson's kind of moved into that. Like, he's not an elite tight end, but he's a tight end 1, which means he's like not bad for you. So I like him there. And then Keenan Allen, you're not excited about Keenan. You were never like really excited about Keenan Allen, and it's been a tough year. What's the moral problem with Washington? Dan Center, who cares? I think the players care, Flea. I think it's tough to put a jersey on your body and give everything to the sport you play for when the team you're advancing has a lot of questionable decisions in a lot of capacities, whether it's personnel, whether it's interpersonal, whether it's like overall decency. I mean, there's a long list of issues that Washington has not fully reckoned with, that if I'm a player for that organization, like if you're going to give everything you got, risking life and limb, be kind of nice to know that the organization's not like completely morally debased. Like that's an element. Ron Rivera is pretty cool. Love like a lot of the stories about Ron Rivera. I'm also wondering why Ron Rivera took this job though. I don't know. Ron Rivera gave me a couple of question marks, but I love his story. Congratulations on overcoming cancer, Ron Rivera. That was incredible. Such an inspiration. And I wish you guys all the best of luck. Would love to see this Washington team turn around, especially post Dan Snyder. Fuck that guy. All right. Let's see here. Michael Thomas flat out stole money at this point. Yeah, him and Matt Flynn could go kick it, right? Over on this one. What's up, YT Salo? Welcome to the show. Should I trade Devin Singletary for James Conner? I already clinched the playoffs. I like this trade. Yeah. Devin Singletary just had he was the best running back on either team for the Bills or the Patriots last night, but Singletary is still not the number one running back when Josh Allen plays quarterback for you. So James Conner gets in the end zone. Kyler Murray's got question marks all around. He had a great week last week. 2 weeks ago, I would have said don't do it because I thought James Conner was kind of on the way out, but James Conner looked really good last week. And this team is not good, the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe it's just the in-season hard knocks or whatever, but it looks like they're at least putting in energy. And that's good for James Conner. Let's see here. Any other questions here? Second. Oh, just 1 second. Looking at a couple of things here. Okay, did I say is Donovan White? Did we not? Are we not talking about him? Oh, Knight, excuse me. Yeah, Mike White, Zonovan Knight. Yes, you are correct. Thank you for calling me on this one. Appreciate that, freak. Jersey J, great show, Austin. Thank you so much, Jersey J. So just to recap, I'm playing Swift and Knight out of the running backs. I asked about real early. Okay, thank you for bringing this back up. I'll just go back and rewatch your answers. Thanks, bro. Good luck this week. Good luck to you too. Oh, I touched on this one. What's the question here? So just to recap, I'm playing Swift and Knight out of the running backs I asked about real early. And who are the other starts that you just remind me if you had? The other guys that you were considering? Let me know. Let's see here. It's going to be a white Christmas in Tampa. Gino's not good. His metrics say otherwise. You're awesome, freak, and I appreciate you. Anytime. Players don't care. They're trying to get paid. Every player is motivated by something differently. Some players have already been paid and they're playing for something else. Some players are totally playing for a paycheck. You're right. Everybody's motivated by something differently, and something that a head coach and a general manager need to be aware of and activate the motivations of each individual player to the best of their ability. I just had to try to forget it. All right. Well, it looks like that's all the actual questions that we got in here. It's been awesome rocking with you here, freak. Flea, despite your Erling disparaging remarks. It's been fun to have you active in the chat. Thanks for joining and sticking with us, Flea, and bringing a lot of energy throughout with some questions and some decent takes. YT Salo, Jersey J, Ronald Calla, Freak Stomper said it before, I'll say it again. ML, Rafi 69 Bomb, Lady V. Oh, I love you, Lady V. Albert coming in. Just saying a big thank you to everybody here for joining me end of the week. I hope you guys have a great Friday night. Nick Forrester, shout you out. Emmanuel Lucero, shout you out. Am I missing anyone? I want to miss anybody here who is showing up. The Joker coming in with some questions. Always great to have you coming around the show. Johnny D, welcome in, welcome out. Actison, good to see you here. Adam Weber. Looks like I got pretty much everybody. Riders Chambers here, who started the show out with us as well. Kyrie Condones. Looks like that is our whole group. It's been awesome rocking with everybody here. Much love to everybody. Everybody has a wonderful weekend. Like and subscribe on this channel. Subscribe if you want to catch more action coming your way. The next show will be on Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's going to be an hour and a half before the 10 a.m. Pacific time kickoffs. Travis and Donnie are going to be going over all your questions. Bring them all to the show, as well as going over updates and whatnot. So, on behalf of everybody here who makes TFW go round, I'm Austin Sear. We're the Fantasy Whispers. We'll catch you on Sunday. Peace.
Right here. Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.
Oh, shit, I didn't hit the button.